One of the things we talked about after 0.0 Republicans in the House or Senate voted for Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill was, will these Republican elected officials who voted against the bill that even many Republican voters wanted, the COVID relief bill, remember, had about 70% support. You don't get that with just Democrats. That means independents and Republicans as well. We wondered, will any of these Republican elected officials suffer consequences as a result of voting against that bill? And we quickly saw, even though they all voted against it, some Republicans publicly taking credit for the fact that the bill was passed and actually saying it's good that people are getting this or that or the other thing. It's actually even worse than this. A new poll finds that a third of Republican voters believe that Republican lawmakers did vote for the COVID relief bill. Remember, nobody in the not a single Republican in the House voted in favor of the COVID relief bill a couple of weeks ago. Not a single Republican in the Senate voted in favor of the COVID relief bill. One guy in the Senate was missing. He didn't vote one way or the other. Not a single one. And yet Data for Progress and Vox conducted a poll of Republican voters, and 53% knew that their Republican lawmakers did not vote for the bill. But 31% said, yeah, they did vote for the bill, and 17% didn't know. That means that 48% of Republicans either wrongly believed that their elected officials voted for the $1,400 stimulus checks that most of them are getting, or simply didn't know one way or the other. Now, you might say, well, this is probably a problem on the left as well. It is, but only to a fraction of a degree. Just 16% of Democratic voters thought Republicans voted in favor of it. Just 16% of independent voters thought Republicans voted in favor of the COVID relief bill. So what you have here, if the question you're trying to answer is, will there be repercussions for Republicans for voting against it? The answer is probably not. Number one, because the opportunity for repercussions is still almost 2 years away in the 2022 election. And number two, because a whole bunch of these Republicans think that their elected officials did vote in favor of the bill. And this is exactly why I said there may not be that much of a political risk to these Republicans for voting against, because their constituents still get the money, even though they voted against. When it's convenient, they can say, I oppose the wasteful spending on fill in the blank. And then they can still get themselves reelected because their voters are completely clueless. Now, as far as the voters go, is this surprising? Not really. If you're able to be bamboozled into thinking Donald Trump can fix trade, immigration, health insurance, income inequality, wages. I mean, if you got tricked into that, then I could understand how you would wrongly believe Republican senators and members of the House voted for a bill they didn't vote for. If you fell for Trump saying the virus is just the flu and 15 cases will be zero and the COVID vaccine could give you COVID and masks are bad and don't work and a reflection of suppression of freedom and all of this other stuff as 500,000 people die. If you can fall for that stuff, it's pretty plausible to believe that you will just wrongly assess whether your representative voted for or against the COVID relief bill. That's not really surprising. If you fell for Biden's a socialist, if Biden takes over, we're going to have toilets you have to flush 15 times and no windows and no heat and no air conditioning. And it's all going to be socialism and communism. If you fell for that, this is like child's play. This is like nothing. So, of course, right wingers, mostly about 50-50, they wanted the stimulus. Most of them got it, of course, since most of the country qualified for the $1,400 checks. They gladly accepted the free money that counts as socialism when they're hearing about the things that Joe Biden is going to do. And in the end, many of them, a third of them, and close to half if you include the ones who don't know, think that their elected officials who tried to prevent them from getting the money actually helped them get it. It's absolutely stunning stuff. And as I've said before, when you don't even have an agreement as to not what the facts are, but what facts are, meaning what is a fact and what is an opinion. When you don't even have agreement there and understanding on that, people will fall for anything. And that explains Donald Trump, and it explains so much of what we've seen over the last 5 years. If you ever feel like you just don't have enough time to read all the books you want to read, you have to check out one of my favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist takes thousands of popular nonfiction books and distills each one down into an ebook or audiobook that you can get through in just 15 minutes, where you're getting all the key takeaways from the book. Just imagine how you'll be able to expand your horizons and knowledge by being able to soak up all of the important insights from 10 different books in an afternoon. Obviously, it's perfect for exposing yourself to a new book you otherwise wouldn't have time for, or you can use it to revisit a book you've already read, or use it to preview a book before you buy the full version and read it. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way, and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.